the most helpful to kind of paint this picture. Because I was thinking about it this morning. I was taking a run, and I was like, how can I express this almost, I guess, be carefulness. I don't know how to say it. Like the risk. How to express the risk tolerance and how everyone needs to choose that when they decide to play different kinds of games. Maybe that's one way to go with it. So meme coins versus otherwise short-term games, I would like to say, versus long-term games. And everyone's dream is say, I'm only going to play in this puddle for a little bit, and then I'm gonna dump it, and I'm gonna put it into the real good stuff. But why does that? Is that a strategy, and is that something people can do? And what kind of appetite do you need to be successful in that? Whoever wants to take it.
Wants to go first?
So what kind of appetite do you need to be successful amongst meme coins or with meme coins, or both?
And not getting burned playing those. Yeah. Again, I've kind of framed it as a short-term game instead of a long-term game, because I don't see a lot of them. I can bring up this. Go ahead, riff on it. I'll bring up a couple anecdotes as well. But
I think that there's opportunity all over the place in crypto. There's so many ways to play the game. I think where my mind goes is what is important is that the person takes responsibility before they play. If they're playing a meme coin, it might be beneficial to ask themselves basic questions like, why are they doing it? How much of their portfolio are they willing to risk? Do they have a reason to think that there's an edge that they have? Is there a reason to think that this is going to go up to a certain amount? How do they know when that amount is reached? Do they have any kind of basic metrics to have some kind of probability? And meme coins are a very real part of cryptocurrency. In my mind, like the audience of those in crypto, like almost such a great majority of us here are here to make money, and people see meme coins as a way to do that. And while meme coins to me are a little bit, in some ways they are a shorter term game, it doesn't mean that someone couldn't have a basic strategy that they've developed, back tested, or they've seen these patterns and they have some kind of risk reward with general meme coins. That's totally possible. But I would suggest that someone try to do that. Try to ask yourself, do you have a approach to this? Have you accepted the risk, or are you just caught up in this one guy saying this is going to go to the moon, and you just like that idea, and you're not thinking for yourself? You don't know when you're going to pull out. You're just along for the ride. And if it doesn't do what you're hearing, are you going to be very upset? That's probably something to be very careful of. You control yourself. You control your approach. You do not control what the market does. And if you're acting in a way that if the market doesn't do what you think, that you're very upset, which I think can happen a lot with meme coins, I would just be cautious. That's not, in my experience, the best way to live your life. Focus on yourself and what you can do. You can take responsibility. You can accept the risk, and you can be happy, even if it doesn't turn out how you think. You just knew when you were approaching this that it was worth this to you, and it was worth it to you regardless of what happened. That was an opportunity you saw. Not all opportunities work out. There's almost never 100% chance of anything. None of us know perfectly the future. But if the probability and whatever the reasons are for getting in are worth it to you regardless of what happens, and that's how you want to live your life, because you can get caught up in things. You can practice bad behavior. Even if you get in on a meme coin and it was luck that made you win, like it worked out, you even took profit, you realized your gains, but you've now it may have been luck more than who you are as a person, and your approach may have not actually been that good. If you continue that behavior, you're going to lose it sooner or later. And I would just be really careful. And I'm saying this because this is what I have to remind myself of too. How I'm approaching one circumstance is how I want to approach a lot of circumstances, and just even getting basically lucky in one can encourage bad behavior. And I may win once. And if I continue that practice, I'm very likely to lose it all, and it's a very common, or more than I'm willing to. I notice it's a common occurrence.
Yeah, I just wanted to paint it. I'll throw it to Jake here in just a second. I just want to put this anecdote too. I've tried to have this conversation and not hate on meme coins and be as objective as possible. And I know I am showing a chart. I measured all-time low, what these things are down. You can read the names if you want, or just look at the numbers. Most, it's harder. It just seems harder to win. It seems harder to win. However, I will say that again, if it brings people in, PulseChain brings people in the PulseChain ecosystem. That's one thing that I give it credit for. At the same time, I think the bear market just creates this sense of, I don't want to say desperation, but the sense of needing to get a win. Like, how can I get that win? How can I get that short? How can I take that shortcut to get that win? And maybe everyone does love the other coins. Maybe they do love the blue chips, but it's like, it's the act of putting your capital. Like when I see people just going nuts over different coins, whatever it is, the week that, may or may not be around the next few weeks or so, or may be very successful. I could give examples, but when I see that happening, instead of, for example, cheap T-shares or, accumulating these other things that seem like if you do your own analysis and things like that, and look at the community behind it, seems like to have a better chance if you look at, the different metrics and stuff. So that's what the tragedy part to me is, just people perhaps not like looking for these shortcuts, and then also not taking advantage of the other opportunities, which are lower risk and are more, I don't know. I don't want to paint the picture of doing anyone's analysis for them or telling them what's low risk and not low risk. But when I see, loser coin and light Doge and Bambi, I'm like, I get it. They're fun, but there's so many more wholesome ways to do investing in my mind. But anyways, Jake Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think there's nothing wrong with meme coins as long as people just do it at the right points in the cycle. Like, it just requires different strategies. And I remember Richard Hart talking about this a while back. I think like 2 years ago or whatever, and it just stuck with me. Is a chart, no matter what it is, when you look at crypto, an ERC20 is just basically a globally available asset to any person in the world as long as they have money on the chain. So then when you look at charts are pretty much just a mathematical representation of who knows about it now and who will know about it. If you look at charts like that, instead of looking at price action, meme coins kind of makes sense. If you know about it before everybody else, and you're at the beginning of the chart, then it's fine. But like buying into parabolic bumps and expecting it to be this huge, massive thing in crypto, I'm not a fan of that at all. But asymmetric information in general, when you're early on the chart, it usually ends up doing well as long as the team does rug pull. Yeah,
I agree in the asymmetric, but the trading is that the piece. So 99% of people, right? Let's say 1%, 5%, whatever, may have an edge in some way, get in early, have more information, whatever. But the vast majority, right? They see other people and they see the tweets going halfway through, and maybe they buy it on the way up, and they think it's going to the moon or otherwise. So I think the tragedy part, the part that I would like to see less people doing, or like being affected by it, at least. My hope is that if you're going to participate, you flip that. Okay, I know I have this edge, like, and you have the edge because you see, like, you have the data, like it's in front of you. It's not just I have a feeling this is going to go up. It is I have this edge, whatever, like, legit way it is. And if you don't have that, avoiding the participation. I think is that the key to avoiding, like, getting wrecked on these things? Because I know a lot of people make money, but a lot of people get wrecked too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, basically the rule is, the moment a big influencer talks about it, you're too late. And the people who have been around in the last bull cycle is when a big YouTuber of like 50,000 plus subscribers talks about it, is when you need to sell, not when you need to buy. So you need to figure out who is going to talk about it, because then you have asymmetric information, get in before they talk about it, and then get out pretty much and do short-term plays. But if you're getting in when other people are talking about it, in general, you're too late, and you're probably just going to be exit liquidity in like 98% of the cases. So it's kind of like, I made a lot of money meme coin trading in the last bull market, but I don't know. I think it's more so for people with smaller amounts of capital, like $200, $500. Like they're not going to make money just investing in Ethereum, and they're probably better off just providing value in the real world and making money that way, and then deploying it into better assets. But some people just like to play that game. It's hard to train people to do it correctly. That's the main thing. They just always lose money pretty much. It's like everybody's ticket into learning crypto is getting wrecked on a meme coin or getting rug pulled. Like we've all been rug pulled at least once. I think I've been rug pulled twice in the last bull market. I think I lost like $12,000 or something like that. It's kind of like a rite of passage.
So I want to pull in that thread too. So the rite of passage part, seeing it, learning from it, but then if you keep, I guess maybe one way to ask too is like, what makes you stop repeating it? Like, what is it? Finding the product? Is it having more capital? Is it DCAing in the right way? Like, what makes you not be able to be susceptible to, hey, here's another game. This other game, it's done now. Let me play this new game. Let me flush everything into that. Like, how do you see the cycle? I guess, how do you be aware? How do you make yourself aware that it's happening enough to pivot and not get stuck in it?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that all comes down to education. That's a hard one. And that's why I kind of resonate with what Richard said when he first started Hex. He was like, we just implemented all the scam tactics when it comes to marketing because scams get the biggest adoption. So what if you use all of those adoption mechanisms and marketing styles to get the most amount of people in, because you see it gets the most adoption, and then do it in a good product? That's pretty much the only way to get people out of it. It's just hook them in the mindset that they're in and then bring them into your world. It's hard to like tell people for instance, when they're making money on a meme coin to be like, hey, what are you doing wrong? But I'm making money. And it's a valid argument, So
and they're like, stay broke, bro. Stay broke. Like, that's what they're going to say to you. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just education. I think the way Richard Hart did it was pretty much the only high impact way of doing it. It's hard. Just at some point you just come to accept it pretty much.
Yeah, I think trying it and failing and seeing the other side of chasing chasing too many projects that you don't even understand and watching out how you just screwed your whole portfolio over because of it is a way to learn. And at the same time, I think it's interesting because I do think the majority of people in crypto follow green candles, meme coins, and leverage. Like that's what attracts so many people. It doesn't mean that those people are the ones that win, but it is interesting to observe. And while on one hand, I'm like chasing green candles, chasing meme coins, and leverage are things that I tend to, if anything, almost want to counter trade. At the same time, where are people going to go? They're probably going to go to where the meme coins are, where the green candles are, and where the leverage is a way for me to like understand the market and make maybe more educated plays myself, because that just understanding who's here and why are they here, who's the customer, helps me know why I might put money in one place or another. And I can put money in something, for example, like indirectly. So the meme coins are over here. Is there a way I can invest, or the leverage is over here? The ability to play leverage is over here. Is there a way I can invest in the decentralized leverage platform that's benefiting whether or not any particular meme coin does well or not? Is the platform underneath it generating some kind of revenue? Maybe I can, from that observation of what people desire, I can still benefit with a lot lower risk, just understanding who's playing this game and why. And that indirectly makes me play meme coins, but it's a totally different shift in how to approach it. And I think sometimes it's easy to shun the meme coins, the green candles, and all these things, but at the same time, like part of me making educated higher probability plays, I need to take into account who's the market, and there's potential opportunities out there. Like, don't just discredit this stuff and necessarily put it out of your mind. There's potential ways to take those into account in a different way, not necessarily play the meme coin, but where are people going and why could be related to those things. And It's just another way to look at it that I personally find interesting, and I do try to take into account.
I just don't, when I look at, the ecosystem out there that isn't building on, my favorite coins, then it just seems like, when I'm looking at meme coin or otherwise, I just think, how long is this thing going to be around? And I start asking all these questions, like, even if it goes to the moon or it does this or that. And then every question I ask always adds up to, if I do this, I'm going to be trading. I'm going to be making a trade. I'm not saying trading as a bad thing. You shouldn't do all this stuff. I'm just thinking, I am not a good trader. I don't want to be a good trader. I'm not interested in trading and spending my time doing that. Lots of people do. Totally okay. So what is my edge when I'm doing this? Maybe that's what it is. I don't feel like I have an edge, and and the other part, okay, I don't want to turn this into a moral discussion either, but I think there's something to be said for short-term games in general, regardless of meme coins, could be anything. But just when you're playing the short-term games, when I feel myself playing a short-term game, it seems as if I'm just literally trying to get someone to buy something that I bought, at a cheaper price, like buy my bags, right? I'm trying to get them to buy my bags. And it just feels so zero sum too. It doesn't feel like I'm helping anyone build wealth. It doesn't feel like I'm contributing and making the pie bigger. It just feels like I'm trying to get out before it all goes down. So one, I don't see myself having an edge. Two, I don't feel good about it. And again, I'm trying to separate philosophy from morals and all this stuff. I just don't feel like I'm participating in broadening the pie for everyone, which is what I like about, in the RH ecosystem and stuff. A lot of these are pie grows bigger, community comes in more. Yeah, of course there's trading, of course there's buy low, sell high type of thing. But there's this sense of, especially people locked up over time, this sense of people are going to play these long-term games where we grow the pie together instead of the short-term games where it's just kind of, you're not really collaborating that much with other people. There's not a big sense of community. Everyone's just trying to get the dollar while they can, sort of thing. So I guess I don't feel like I have an edge with that. And that's why I tend to sit out with them.